Itachi Uchiha. You know Itachi. The genius, the traitor, the older brother with the most confusing moral compass in Naruto. But here's the twist. While most people steal eyes and plug them right into their sockets, Itachi said, "Nah, I'm gonna give mine to a bird." That's right. He didn't steal anyone's eye for himself. Instead, he took Shisui Uchiha's Mangekyo Sharingan, the one with Kotoamatsukami, one of the most broken genjutsu in the entire series. Then he straight up implanted it into a crow. Not a clone, not a summon. A literal bird. And that crow, he shoved it into Naruto's mouth. Yep, it's peak Naruto logic. Let's rewind. Shisui, his best friend, was about to be hunted down by Danzo. Rather than let his dojutsu fall into the wrong hands, he entrusted one of his Mangekyo eyes to Itachi before taking the most tragic dive into the river. Itachi, instead of using the eye for his own power, saw its true value in manipulation and contingency. He coded the crow to activate Kotoamatsukami only when exposed to Itachi's Mangekyo Sharingan, and the command was simple: protect the hidden leaf. The plan, simple in theory. If Sasuke went rogue after killing Itachi, the crow would react to Sasuke's Mangekyo and cast the ultimate genjutsu on him to bring him back to the good side. But as with all things in Naruto, plans never go smoothly. Itachi died, got revived by Edo Tensei, and when he used his own Mangekyo in front of Naruto, the crow popped out early and cast Kotoamatsukami on Itachi himself. That genjutsu broke Kabuto's control and freed Itachi from Edo Tensei's grip, letting him move with free will and go fight Kabuto. Was it smart? Absolutely. Was it efficient? Kinda. Was it overkill? Very. The only catch is that Kotoamatsukami has a 10-year cooldown unless you're Danzo with Hashirama cells. So this massive power play? One time only. Itachi's strategy was brilliant, poetic, and so very Itachi. But in terms of power spam or battle advantage, pretty limited. Still, the impact of using someone else's eye through a crow to overwrite necromantic mind control? That's legendary, even if it only happened once. The man basically outplayed death, using a crow. Now, if you've made it this far, welcome to the amazing world of anime. This is the place for true fans like you, where we celebrate all the magic, action, and emotions anime brings to our lives. You've watched, you've felt the hype, you've been lost in these beautiful fantasy worlds, but, have you hit that subscribe button yet? Right now, almost 90% of you are watching without subscribing. Just imagine, if everyone hit sub, we could build one of the strongest anime communities out there. So, go ahead, click that subscribe button right now so you won't miss any new episodes, deep dive breakdowns, or awesome anime content coming your way. Thank you so much, Io. Now let's talk about Io. Yeah, that guy from the Mist Village who always looks like he's got secrets hidden under that eye patch. Because he literally does. He's a seasoned shinobi, veteran of the Third Great Ninja War, and a top-tier sensor ninja. But the moment that shocked everyone, he's got a Byakugan. Not his own, of course. Ao's, not Hyuga. But somewhere in that brutal war, he got his hands on a Byakugan, probably from a fallen Hyuga of the main family. And no, we're not talking donation. This was wartime. It was either scavenged or taken directly from a corpse. Brutal? Yeah. Effective? Also, yeah. The funny part is, no one in the mist wanted to advertise it. Ao kept the eye covered with an eye patch, not because it was damaged, far from it, but because the Byakugan can see through things. The patch was there to hide it from other villages, especially the Leaf, who would definitely want it back. Danzo, in particular, was foaming at the mouth to reclaim it. Ao even had protective sealing earrings to make sure nobody could rip it out. Not even Mizukage Mei could undo them. That's dedication, but what does he actually do with it? He uses it for sensory purposes, detecting chakra flow, identifying chakra colors, and spotting genjutsu. He's the one who exposed Danzo during the 5 Kage Summit by noticing Kotoamatsukami being cast on Mifune. That's a major W. However, he can't use Gentle Fist, the Hyuga's main fighting style, because he's not trained in it. No point knowing your enemy's chakra points if you can't punch them properly. So what we get is a ninja with nearly 360-degree vision, chakra detection, X-ray vision, but no Hyuga-style offensive jutsu. He's like a really expensive CCTV camera with trust issues. Ao's eye gave him utility, not power. He was great in a support role, a walking genjutsu detector, and a guy who probably made Danzo lose sleep. But in direct combat, he couldn't fully tap into the Byakugan's potential, which is a shame. Imagine a mist ninja dishing out 64 palms. Sadly, that's not the timeline we got. In the end, Io's stolen eye was a big deal politically and narratively. But functionally, he's the weakest on the list. Still, gotta respect the guy who survived 3 wars, outed Danzo, and protected his stolen eye better than Danzo protected all 10 of his. Madara Uchiha. Madara Uchiha. The name alone makes grown shinobi cry and run for their lives. He's a literal war-ending legend, the ghost of the Uchiha clan, and at one point, the most overpowered man alive. But today, we're not talking about his Rinnegan, his Susanoo, or his I drop meteors for fun habit. Nope, we're here for his stolen Sharingan moment, and wow, it's wild. So here's the scene. 4th Great Ninja War. Madara is already a 10 tails Jinchuriki, basically a walking nuke. You'd think that's enough power, right? But no, not for Madara. He looks over at Kakashi, sees that shiny Mangekyo Sharingan, and says, "Yoink!" In a flash, he rips it out and shoves it into his own eye socket like it's a contact lens. 0 chakra prep, 0 hesitation. Honestly, rude. What's insane is what he does next. This isn't some basic Sharingan technique. It's Kamue, a space-time jutsu that even Kakashi spent years learning to master. Madara uses it instantly. Like, the man didn't even stop to blink. He phases into the Kamui dimension as if he's been doing it since preschool. Even more absurd, Kamui was never meant to be used like that. Kakashi's version only worked on long-range targets. He could send objects away, not himself. But Madara overrides the system. He warps his own body into the Kamui world, no questions asked. It's like downloading a brand new app and immediately hacking it on day 1. And remember, he did this while being a 10 tails Jinchuriki. Obito couldn't even phase in that state, despite being the original Kamui master. But Madara? Nah, he just breaks the game. Here's the kicker though, he only uses it once. One flashy move, and then nothing. That Sharingan becomes decoration. No Kamui combo spam, no follow-up shenanigans. Just a perfect move dropped like Mike. So yeah, Madara showed peak brilliance here. But because he never used it again, he kind of left us wondering what could have been. One of the most jaw-dropping stolen eye moments ever, but also one of the shortest. Obito Uchiha. Obito Uchiha, aka Tobi. AKA the guy behind most of the trauma in Naruto. At one point, this man was the final boss, the mastermind, and the biggest plot twist all rolled into one. But when it comes to stolen eyes, oh boy, Obito is in a league of his own. Dude was basically a mobile eyeball warehouse. Let's start with the Sharingan. After helping orchestrate the Uchiha massacre, Obito collected dozens of eyes from the fallen clan, like they were Pokemon cards. He stored them in secret labs and used them as backups for Izanagi. If something went wrong, boom, activate a spare eye, rewrite reality, and walk away like nothing happened. And it worked. Twice, at least. The first time was when Itachi set up Amaterasu inside Sasuke to ignite the moment he saw Obito's Sharingan. Obito shrugged it off with Izanagi. The second time, Konan's 600 billion paper bombs. Yes, 600 billion. Even after being turned into confetti, he rewrote death itself. That's next-level insurance policy. Now let's talk Rinnegan. Obito straight up stole Nagato's Rinnegan, which originally belonged to Madara. He only used one, the left eye, because trying to use both would overload even his absurd body. With that single Rinnegan, he controlled the Gedo Mazo, summoned chakra chains, and sealed the tailed beasts. Very cool. But here's the thing, he barely scratched the surface. He never used the 6 paths of pain like Nagato. No Chibaku Tensei, no almighty push, none of the fancy stuff. Kakashi even pointed it out. They knew how to counter Pain's powers, so Obito didn't bother. Fair, but still a bit of a waste. Obito had access to the most broken dojutsu in the series. Yet he used them in very limited ways. His Sharingan tricks were brilliant and saved him multiple times. But his Rinnegan? Underused. It felt more like a tool for summoning than actual combat. In the end, Obito was a powerhouse, no doubt. But for someone with that many stolen eyes, you'd expect a bit more fireworks. Instead, we got efficiency over variety. It worked, but part of me still wishes he'd thrown at least one Shinra Tensei, just for style points. Danzo Shimura. Ah yes, Danzo Shimura. The man, the myth, the walking Uchiha parts collection. If Konoha ever had a living embodiment of moral grayness, it was Danzo. He called himself a patriot. Everyone else just called him shady. Danzo was the secret leader of Root, a shadowy branch of the ANBU. He believed in protecting the Leaf Village by any means necessary. And I mean any means. Assassinations? Sure. Backdoor deals? Of course. Implanting 11 stolen Sharingan on his body. Naturally. Let's break it down. Danzo managed to steal Shisui Uchiha's Mangekyo Sharingan, one of the rarest eyes in the series, and embedded it in his right eye socket. He also had 10 regular Sharingan jammed into his right arm, like he was building a chakra-powered meat glove. This Frankenstein creation was made possible by Hashirama cells, because Danzo apparently had a buy one eye, get one wood-style discount thing going on. Now, what did he do with all those eyes? 2 words, Kotoamatsukami and Izanagi. Kotoamatsukami, the ultimate genjutsu, let him manipulate someone's will without them realizing it. Thanks to the Hashirama cells, he could use it once per day, which is an insane buff considering the default cooldown is 10 years. Then there's Izanagi. With each Sharingan in his arm, Danzo could rewrite reality for 1 minute per eye. That means 10 minutes of pure invincibility. You stab him? Doesn't matter. He dies? Nope. Rewind. You blinked? He's already alive again. It's like fighting a boss with infinite continues. But here's the thing. Danzo wasted it. He could have used Kotoamatsukami during his fight with Sasuke and just told him to take a nap or join the Leaf. But he didn't. Why? Because he wanted to save it for Madara, aka Obito, aka Mr. I'm actually the final villain. Strategic? Maybe. Smart? Not really. By the time Danzo considered using it, he was already bleeding out and dragging Karen down with him. So yeah, Danzo had the tools to be a god-tier manipulator, but he let pride and paranoia get in the way. Amazing powers, flexible usage, but a tactical blunder that cost him everything. Still, the man turned himself into a cursed eye buffet, and you have to respect that. Kinda. Nagato Uzumaki. Let's be honest, if gods existed in Naruto, Nagato would have been one of them. As the puppet master behind the name Pain, he didn't just defeat his enemies. He erased villages, judged nations, and brought the almighty push meme to life. But here's the twist. Those godlike eyes weren't even his. As a child, Nagato was secretly implanted with Madara's Rinnegan. Madara wanted a puppet who would grow up and eventually revive him using Rinne Tensei. Yeah, Madara basically said, "Here kid, hold my eyes until I die again." Nagato didn't know this, of course. He believed his Rinnegan awakened naturally due to the trauma of war. Plot twist. Nope. But ignorance didn't stop Nagato from becoming a menace. He mastered every single Rinnegan ability, creating the iconic 6 paths of pain. Each body had a different function. Summoning, absorbing ninjutsu, soul ripping, you name it. And because they shared the same vision, attacking one pain was like fighting a squad of multiplayer boss clones with aimbot. Nagato also used techniques like Shinra Tensei, the devastating force push that literally leveled Konoha in seconds. He had Shibaku Tensei, the mini planet maker that even Naruto and Kurama struggled to break. And don't forget the Gedomazo, a massive statue that could restrain tailed beasts like pets on a leash. The scariest part? He did all this while being physically crippled, confined to a mechanical spider chair like an emo Darth Vader. So what held him back? 2 things. First, he never used abilities like Limbo or Susanoo. probably because they weren't part of his version of the Rinnegan, or maybe he lacked the chakra control for them. Second, he burned out. His final battle with Naruto ended in defeat, not because he lacked power, but because Naruto had talk no jutsu and a big fox in his corner. Still, Nagato is one of the most efficient users of stolen dojutsu in the entire series. He didn't just inherit the Rinnegan, he reshaped the ninja world with it. If only he hadn't been Madara's pawn, maybe things would have turned out different. Or maybe we'd all just be living under a giant Chibaku rock. Kakashi Hatake. Ah, Kakashi. The man with the mask, the attitude, and one Sharingan that changed everything. He didn't steal it. He didn't ask for it. But boy, did he make it work. Kakashi got his Sharingan from Obito Uchiha after what might be the saddest rock accident in anime history. One eye, one final gift. That should have been the end of it, right? Nope. Kakashi took that eye and became a legend. Over time, it evolved into Mangekyo Sharingan, activated at the same moment Obito witnessed Rin's death. Two friends, two eyes, one trauma. Classic Naruto. And that Sharingan? Kakashi used it like a cheat code. He copied over 1,000 jutsu, refined Chidori into a perfect assassination technique, and countered threats no one else could. His Kamui became both his sword and shield, phasing away Pain's attacks, sending bombs and projectiles into another dimension like he had storage space to spare. But the real madness came in the final battle. With Obito dead, again, his spirit literally crossed the afterlife to lend both of his Mangekyo Sharingan to Kakashi. The result? Dual Kamui, perfect Susanoo, and chakra-enhanced vision that made every fan scream, "What?" For a brief moment, Kakashi was a god. He gained Kamui Shuriken, tossing massive dimensional weapons from his Susanoo like ninja frisbees of doom. Then there was Kamui Raikiri, a lightning blade that erased whatever it touched. The man basically went from low on chakra to final boss DLC. And the craziest part? Kakashi isn't even an Uchiha. Despite that, he mastered the Sharingan better than most of its original owners. He pushed its limits with strategy, creativity, and sheer grit. His time with both eyes was short, but no one used someone else's dojutsu more efficiently. Kakashi took a tragic gift and turned it into legacy. And for that, he stands at the top. Teneri Otsutski. Now for the wild card. Teneri Otsutski, the space prince with main character syndrome in the last Naruto the movie. While most people steal eyes for power, Teneri did it to wipe out the human race. Talk about overreacting. Teneri's bloodline traces back to Hamura Otsutsuki, meaning he already had strong celestial chakra. But apparently, that wasn't enough. He decided to steal Hanabi Hyuga's Byakugan, a brutal move that left her unconscious and him with a new shiny eye. Now here's where it gets wild. Once he implanted that Byakugan and combined it with his Otsutsuki chakra, it evolved into the Tenseigan, a dojutsu that's basically Byakugan on steroids. Forget 360-degree vision. This eye gave him gravity control, truth-seeking orbs, a chakra cloak, and enough raw power to move the moon. Yeah, the moon. He used the Tenseigan to manipulate gravity, create massive shockwaves, and even battle Naruto head-on. And for a while, he held his own. The man literally created a lunar apocalypse scenario. Not bad for a guy who had about 20 minutes of screen time. But here's the thing, Teneri lacked experience. Sure, his power was absurd, but his control and combat IQ? Not on the level of Nagato or Kakashi. He didn't have strategic mastery or creative techniques, just raw force and a very dramatic goal. Eventually, Naruto overwhelmed him. Teneri got blasted into the moon wall and had a massive, maybe I went too far moment. He survived, but his big plan crumbled along with his pride. Still, Tenseigan remains one of the most visually and conceptually powerful dojutsu in the series. Teneri's short reign was bright, explosive, and moon-sized. But without the battle instincts of someone like Kakashi or the depth of Nagato's tactics, he's more power than Polish. Thank you for watching and see ya in the next video.